Hi, YouTube friends and family. This is Sherman Smalls once again. And as I said before, I would come back and share some more ideas and experiences that I myself had as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And today I wanted to talk about credence, giving credibility to false ideas and false beliefs, and also, once again, the importance of speaking out against things we know to be untrue. I would like to start by sharing a poem with you. This is a poem that was a song actually sang by Aretha Franklin, and the name of that song is called Make Them Hear You. And it's a song about justice, but I think is very relevant to what we as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses experience. But anyway, here it goes. It says, "Go out and tell our story, let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you, make them hear you. How justice was our battle and how justice was denied. Make them hear you, make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you, make them hear you. Go out and tell our story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you, make them hear you. And tell the peoples of our struggles we were not the only ones. Make them hear you, make them hear you. A sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my friends, and then will justice be denied to 1,000,000 righteous men. Make them hear you, and when they hear you, I'll be with you once again." So this particular poem I felt was very appropriate. I felt it was very moving and touching in that it's a song about the struggle for justice. And when it comes to justice, we understand that justice is something that needs to be fought for. It's never handed out freely. It always needs to be fought for. And in this particular instance, that justice that is being fought for has to relate with religious freedom. That justice has to relate with how things are done in the organization, how things are untrue in the organization, how things need to be corrected or things need to be pointed out in the organization, and how others need to understand that the organization is not something that they need to put their confidence in and that they need to put their trust in, because it has been found to be fallible. It has been found to be incorrect, and much time and resources have been wasted by many people thinking that they have been putting their work toward the efforts of something that was representing Jehovah. So that is basically what this struggle is about. When it comes to talking with those who are still active Jehovah's Witnesses, or sharing our views with others as it relates to Jehovah's Witnesses, it's not something that we should be ashamed of. Many times we were under the impression that this actually was Jehovah's organization, and so we were afraid to say anything against the group that represented Jehovah. But once we found out that this group is not actually representing Jehovah, that they are not Jehovah's representatives, what is there that we need to be afraid of? We need to speak what is truth. We are speaking to and looking for fellow seekers of truth. And if we understand something not to be true, we have an obligation and a right to share that information with others. It's the same way as when we went knocking on doors with what we felt to be the good news. And we spoke out against what we call Christendom at the time, and the Catholic teachings, and how these teachings were wrong, and how the teachings that we had as Jehovah's Witnesses were correct. And we actually went from door to door doing this. But why wouldn't it be the same? Why wouldn't it be in our best interest? Why wouldn't it be in an effort of sincerity to share the truth as we know it with others the same way we shared it then? So we understand that many things are misrepresented by the organization. We understand that they do not have the God-given authority that they have claimed to have been exerting that they have claimed to have been given by Jehovah God and Jesus Christ. We understand that they do not have this authority, so why would we be afraid to share this information with other people? So one person put it this way. They said to kill an error is as good a service as to establish a new truth or a new fact. So it's our obligation to kill errors. And if someone is outspokenly preaching a message, then we can outspokenly proclaim that this message is not true. We can help others to avoid the pitfall of being caught up in a false religion the same way we were at one time caught up in a false religion. So if someone is loudly proclaiming their false beliefs, these beliefs should not be encouraged and they should not go unchallenged. So one person said that it's immoral to teach ignorant people untruths. It's immoral to teach children things that aren't true. And so that's basically what we did as Jehovah's Witnesses. We went knocking on doors and we taught people who knew nothing about the Bible, scripturally ignorant people or spiritually ignorant people. We taught them a message, and that message has been found to be untrue. And so that's something that is immoral. And the more we challenge these dangerous and false beliefs in everyday conversation, it winds up being a good thing, and people will understand that they're no longer being given a free pass as it comes to false teachings and false religions. Before, they could just say what they want and do what they want. No one said anything because people were scared because they didn't know. But that free pass is no longer there. If you're outspokenly proclaiming a doctrine that is not true, people have the right to criticize that doctrine and challenge it. And many religions want the right to go unchallenged because they want to continue on promoting their false doctrines. Another thing is that false religions, and the Jehovah's Witnesses in general as well, have wasted the time, the money, and the resources of well-meaning people. So many people, we've put our time and our money and our resources and our mental energy into something that we thought was a good thing. We thought we were doing the right thing. We thought that we were giving of ourselves freely to our Maker, to Jehovah, but we weren't. We were giving it to an organization, and this is something that needs to be challenged as well. We don't want others to fall in the same category. We don't want others to make the same mistake of giving their time, money, and resources to something that is not true. One person said even when it came to religious donations, only 5% of religious donations are actually given to social programs. And so, for instance, if $100 is contributed to a church, that money contributed to the church goes back into the church and to building new buildings or creating more comfortable surroundings for its members. But actually less than 5% of that money is actually given to the poor or given to any type of social program. So actually when we think we're giving, we're actually promoting the growth of an organization. We're promoting the growth of a church. Our resources are not considered to be charitable. Less than 5% of money donated goes to social programs or actual charitable work. And that's why the charitable status of many religious organizations are being challenged right now. Many are coming under scrutiny because they are not really fulfilling the role of what a charitable organization should be doing. Another reason that religions, and especially Jehovah's Witnesses, should be challenged is because they promote inappropriate responses to real life circumstances. For instance, there's the teaching on college. It's frowned upon. People are encouraged to, quote unquote, put the kingdom first, and use your youth and use your effort to promote kingdom interest or promote the organization, if you will. And education is not front and foremost because this system is coming to an end any day now, and that education would be found useless. But the reality is we have to work and we have to make a living, and people need education in order to get good jobs, in order to provide for themselves and their families. If we don't have a good education, it's very difficult to survive in today's society, and with ourselves and with our children. We don't want an undue struggle because of inappropriate advice. We don't want someone to advise us. No, you don't need education. You just need to follow us, and we will instruct you on what you need to do. I remember watching a video just a few days ago, and it was entitled "Follow the Cloud." And there was a governing body member speaking and another brother speaking. His name was Ralph Walls, and I remember him from being in Bethel. And I was so disappointed in that you can see in the speech that Brother Walls was giving, he was indoctrinated to the extent that he was indoctrinating others. And the basic message was, listen, do not rely on your own thinking. Do not worry about the God-given instinct or the mental faculty that Jehovah has given you. Just watch the cloud, and that cloud was supposedly symbolic of Jehovah's organization on earth, the governing body. Watch what they do and follow them, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it doesn't seem to be on track. You just have faith and do not lean on your own intelligence. Be obedient and watch the cloud. And so this is the advice that Brother Walls was giving in his talk, or Mr. Walls, I should call him, was giving in his talk, and that the governing body member was giving, that witnesses need not use their own intelligence, but they just need to follow the leader, as it were. And so this is not a good response for real world issues. This is not how intelligent or critical thinking people need to conduct their lives. So some people feel that promoting faith as a virtue is a good thing. You know, the fact that you can believe something and not question it and just go on and do it, that's a good thing. That's a quality that you need to have, but actually it's not. To blindly follow the advice and the thinking of others has always proved dangerous, and it gives credibility to religious leaders who actually have no authority. It gives credibility, or it shows that we believe people who have no right for us to be trusting in them. And so that's something that we also have to keep in mind. And so sometimes people say, well, you know, the people who have these beliefs, they think that they are telling the truth, and that's even more of a reason that we want to talk to them and share with them and to help them to get back on the right track. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we need not be afraid. We need not be scared of speaking out against what we know to be false. We need to have the confidence that the true God will protect us, and the true God actually understand that we are representing him. And so we understand that what we once believed was the true organization, we understand that it's not. And this is something that could be proven through research. And once we have that assuredness, we have the confidence that we actually have the backing of Jehovah in sharing the fact that we do not follow those who do not truly represent him. So in other words, we, as the scriptures say, we don't want to have a sense of cowardness, but we want to boldly proclaim what we know to be the truth. We're not cowards. If we know something, we share it with others, and by doing this, we thus help ourselves, and we help those who are humble enough to listen to us as well. So in any event, once again, may Jehovah bless all of our brothers and sisters, and we hope that the truth shines through, and we hope that they find themselves in a position of enlightenment and not under the auspices of false religious teachings and false religious doctrines.